Welcome to Beyond Synth. Please note, Beyond Synth is an explicit program and may contain inappropriate language. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Andy Last. This is Beyond Synth episode 99. Think about that for a second. 99 episodes. That means next time is episode 100. And if you're wondering if I got something special planned, I don't. I think some people thought I was going to do like a multiple guest episode, we'll have a little celebration, but I don't think I have time to throw that together. But I think you guys will be happy with what we do on the 100th. Maybe I finally have a conversation with somebody who people have wanted to hear on the show for a while. But of course, that could be several different people, so even that could probably be disappointing to somebody, because everyone is always disappointed all the time, and those people need to shut up and just accept that this is not the way to start a show. This is... If you're always wondering why, like halfway through all my sentences I just start giggling, it's because I don't write anything down. So I get on the microphone and I go, I'll be fine, I can make up stuff. And then the second I get on the mic, I always realize that I can't make up stuff. For some reason it's a lesson I still haven't learned yet. And who knows though, maybe, once we hit episode 100 with Beyond Synth, we enter into a whole new era of Beyond Synth, one where I'm completely confident, where the show starts and instead of goofing around and not understanding anything, I have this regimented plan. It'll be a completely different show. No more self-deprecating humor, no more, fumbling with my words and giggling. It'll just be like, hey there, welcome to the show. This is Beyond Synth. You know what it is and you fucking love it, you dumb fuck. That'll be the way the show is going to be from episode 101 and on. Let's listen to some music. We'll get to some business. Today is part 2 of my conversation with Perturbator. Seems people enjoyed the first one. It's always nice to hear from Perturbator because it was a long time since I had talked to him. But of course, today it is not a long time because I talked to him last week. Let's listen to a track. This is my old buddy Droid Bishop. He just came out with a new little EP. It's called End of Aquarius. This is a cool song. This is Dead Before Dawn. And that was Droid Bishop with Dead Before Dawn, and that's from his new EP, End of Aquarius. I keep on wanting to say Age of Aquarius, but that is not what it is. Go support Droid Bishop, he's my buddy, and he makes cool music. Maybe I should flip those two thoughts. The more important thing is that he makes cool music. The buddy part is secondary. But I dig that track. I dig that little key change thing that happens partway through. That's my favorite little bit. One of these days, I'm going to put together a video that's going to be my favorite bits of songs. Like, you know when you like a song, but really there's that moment where the song just does a cool thing, and it's not the whole track. You know, sometimes you listen to a song, it's like 4 minutes long, but there's that one part. That part at 2 minutes and 27 seconds when that weird sound comes in, and then all of a sudden it just clicks in your brain and you go, that's fucking cool. I know what that part is for pretty much all of my favorite songs. You know, I can be listening to a track and like, oh, I'm listening to Look a Set, and there's that part right before the chorus where the drum like ramps up and does this thing, and then this weird synth comes in, and that's the part that I always love. You know, when I'm listening to the song, if I'm walking around listening in earphones and like a car drives by and I hear a horn honk and it ruins that part, I will rewind the song so I can hear that bit again. The point is, we all love the music. Is that the point? That's the point today, man. So this is cool, episode 99. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I've made 99 things. I mean, if I think back to my life, I don't even recall making 99 sandwiches, and I'm 35 years old. I mean, I've certainly made 99 sandwiches, but I've not seen them all stacked up in a row, right? Like, I can look at the Beyond Synth playlist and actually see, oh, there's episode 1. I mean, I can look at it right now and go, look at that, episode 1 with Ogre, and then Hoo Ha, and Protector 101, and Vincenzo Salvia, and Highway Superstar, and Sunglasses Kid, and then the list goes on and on. Grooveworthy, does he even still make music? That's the cool thing about this show, is it's been going on for, you know, a few years now, that there's lots of people who I've interviewed who aren't even bands anymore. So it's now this thing that just sort of floats there in time. You know, you can go back and say, oh, you know, Blushes, like, is Blushes, I don't even think they're a band anymore. I think they split up. But you can go back and listen to episode 34, and there's Blushes, you know, there they are as a band, all laughing and happy. They're okay, I don't know what I'm making. I'm making all this drama out of nothing. You know, gotta do what you gotta do. Let's listen to some more music. Okay, so we're gonna listen to a track. I know we listened to Wojciech last week, but we're gonna listen to him again this week because I have to issue a fucking correction, which pisses me off that I have to do this. I don't like to be one of those people who pronounces people's names wrong, alright? It's like a point of pride. You know when you listen to other people and they say people's names and they do it wrong and it hits your ear the wrong way and it's annoying? I don't want to be one of those people. So Wojciech, okay, he's Polish and he has a crazy Polish name, right? And, you know, when he first sent me music, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I want to play it on the show. How do you say your name? Because the last part of his name is nuts. It's Golczewski. So to the English eye, it looks like Golczewski or whatever. And he sent me this robot, like a link, a web link to a Polish pronunciation thing. And he said, just put my name into there. So I put it into there, and the robot lady said Wojciech Golczewski, like that. She said Golczewski, like with a D. I listened to that thing so many fucking times going, a D sound, really? I mean, it's like CZE. Like, why is that D? But I don't know anything about Poland, so maybe that's the way their letters sound. Like when those three letters are together, it's a D sound, all right? It seemed weird to me, but the robot lady said over and over again, Golczewski, like that. So I've been calling him Wojciech Golczewski, like that. I don't know why I'm saying it different now than my impression of the robot lady, but I've been saying with a D. And then some other Polish guy makes fun of me on the SoundCloud page, going like, oh, I like when English people try to pronounce Polish names. And I'm like, I thought I was doing it right. The robot lady said Golczewski. I know now it's making my case really bad when every time I say what the robot lady said, I'm kind of pronouncing it differently. But the main thing was the D sound. So then I go to Wojciech and I'm like, have I been saying your name wrong? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, fucking why didn't anyone tell me? So now I end up I've played his tracks on the show like 3 times now, and I've said his name wrong every time. So I'm issuing a correction. It is Golczewski. like ch. It's a ch, a ch sound. So it's Wojciech Golczewski, like that. All right? So there is my official apology, you sons of bitches. Of course, Wojciech is so used to this that he says, you know, when people hear my name, it just sounds like gibberish anyways. And I'm like, but the point is that I want to say it correctly. So let's listen to some music. This is Wojciech Golczewski with Childhood Dream. And that was Childhood Dream by Wojciech Golczewski off the Signal album. That's his newest album, and it's pretty cool. Check it out. I dig it. And I also dig Golczewski, and hopefully that makes all you Polish people happy. What are Polish people called? Are they Poles? You bunch of fucking Poles? Hey guys, let's go to the mail sack real fast.
Be faithful, listen listening to the show, hoping that your note gets picked from the
All right, this was a mail sack from Nathan Winter, and he writes, "Hey Andy, I just rewatched The Running Man on Hulu last night, and I was wondering what you thought of this film. I don't think you've ever mentioned it, and would you like to see a remake of this one? I think it has a lot of potential, but it would likely go the way of other 80s movie remakes like RoboCop and Total Recall. Visually stunning, yet forgettable." So, I think The Running Man is fine. My favorite part of The Running Man is the song. You know, the that's what I like about The Running Man. Running Man is one of those movies, I know everyone gets all pissed off every time they remake, 80s films. And yes, they've all been mostly just mediocre. I mean, I've gone on this rant before about remakes. A lot of them haven't been terrible, they've just been unremarkable. So like when I watch the RoboCop remake or Total Recall, it's not like I'm watching going like, oh, this film's fucking awful. It's just there. It's just not special. It doesn't have the unique quality that the original has. In the case of Running Man, I will say I would not be offended if they remade this film. I would say it is, in my personal opinion, like a middle Arnold film. You've got the great Arnold movies, you've got Predator, you've got Terminator 1 and 2, Total Recall, Conan, Arnold's been in a lot of really awesome movies. And then you've got those kind of middle movies that are like, they're not bad, they've got some good parts, but I don't consider Running Man a classic Arnold film. I consider it like one of the good ones, but it's also got a lot of stuff in there that's stupid, and the girl in it is terrible. She delivers one of the worst one-liner, punchline things I've ever heard in a film, and if I can grab it off YouTube, I will. But the character of Amber, she's the one who kills Dynamo at the end, spoiler.
Why aren't you laughing?
Because there's nothing funny about a dickless moron with a battery up his ass.
And it's fucking terrible. Like, Arnold, for all his acting faults, he delivers a punchline like nobody's business, and it's awesome. And he's got an amazing punchline in that film where he threatens the main villain guy. That might be my favorite part of the whole movie, is his delivery of that line. It's so awesome.
You cold-blooded bastard. I'll tell you what I think of it. I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
But ultimately, if they remade Running Man, I wouldn't be upset. I know there'd be people on there, in the synth scene and in the retro scene where they'd be like, oh, I can't believe they're remaking The Running Man. But like, honestly, it's a concept that almost seems, pretty valid this day and age. I mean, I almost feel like we're gonna get The Running Man at some point anyways. Not that that's a good thing. So I could totally see them running with that idea. That being said, it's not an idea I don't think that's not been done anywhere else. Like, just the idea of like people being thrown into a game where they have to compete to survive. I mean, I feel like a lot of movies have done that idea. Maybe not the whole game show, like the cheesy game show aspect of it, but what's happening? Oh yeah, I was answering a question. Yeah, so to answer the question, yeah, I'd be fine with a Running Man remake. Who cares? I mean, ultimately, you don't need to watch them. We've seen all of these remakes so far kind of fizzle out and burn out. Like, were any of them hits? Like, did RoboCop make a lot of money? Did Total Recall remake make a lot of money? I mean, as far as I know, they keep doing these remakes, people keep complaining about them, and the remakes don't make any money. So I think they must be seeing now that it's not a viable business thing. I mean, Disney's got their live-action remakes, but they're Disney. You know what I mean? So there's the nostalgia of the people it's hitting, I believe, is just a much more viable market. And, The Jungle Book was actually like a fun film. So I know when people like complain about remakes, I thought the live action Jungle Book was a cool movie. I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, but whatever. What's my point? My point is that I don't feel the need to complain because you don't have to watch it. And ultimately, I think the studio is seeing that they're failing anyways. I mean, there is going to be no RoboCop sequel because no one really cared about that. No one cared about Total Recall. I know they made Gem. They made like Gem and the Holograms into a live action that completely ignored the cartoon, and nobody gave a fuck, right? So no one cares. But I'll tell you what we do care about: cool music. Here's a fun one from Phaserland from his new album Cosmic Boundaries. This is Smolder. And that was Smolder by Phaserland off the Cosmic Boundaries album. And thanks for your question, by the way, Nathan Winter. I just realized I didn't thank you for writing in. And if you want to write in to Beyond Synth, just send me a message on the Facebook page, direct message on the SoundCloud, Twitter. You can send me a private message. Just title it Mail Sack, and I'll read it in the Mail Sack section. Speaking of which, what's the other stuff you gotta know? Don't forget to follow Andy Last on Twitter. I am at Andy Last. That's the official Twitter account for the Beyond Synth. You can follow facebook.com/beyond.synth.podcast. That's the Facebook page. Check out soundcloud.com/beyond-synth. That's where all the Beyond Synth episodes get posted. So chances are, if you're listening to this show, you are probably listening to the SoundCloud feed. And when you're on SoundCloud, please like and comment and stuff like that. It's cool to see the community active. All the jingles on Beyond Synth are done by Hoo Ha, and the theme song is by Ogre. I like to just remind everybody of that, just in case they are confused or don't know. And of course, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Beyond Synth plays on Power85.com. Power85 is sort of 24-hour-a-day synthwave station. And you can actually listen to Beyond Synth early, because I post the episodes on Monday, but on Thursdays is when the episodes air, and there's a chat going on in Mixlr. I understand I just keep throwing different websites at you. If you go to power85.com, it's technically being hosted by a service called Mixlr, and they have a chat going. So every Thursday night when the episode airs, I go into the chat, and there's a bunch of other people who listen to the show, and we chat while the show is airing. And I imagine no one actually listens to what anyone is saying during that time, because they're all pretty much just having private conversations. But the point is, that is a way to check out the show, and it's always fun to have a live chat with the listeners of the show. And of course, before I forget, Beyond Synth is brought to you by Down to Jam. It's a free website that helps musicians around the world connect based on musical compatibility. If you are a musician looking for a partner to jam with or to fill a spot in your band, you're going to want to check out downtojam.com. That's DOWNTOJAM.com. Do it. Now, let's listen to some more music. This is Future Holotape. They just came out with a new album, Terra District 1, and this track is called Desolation. And that was Desolation by Future Holotape off Terra District 1. Future Holotape. So that's a cool album, you should definitely check it out. And if you want to know more about Future Holotape, all you got to do is go back in time to the Beyond Synth Vault, where all the old episodes are. And Future Holotape was episode 31. And I just played Phaserland earlier. He was episode 32. And later in the show, when I talked to Perturbator, I think we reference Dan Terminus and Ghost, because they were all on tour together in Europe. And Dan Terminus was episode 33. And Dan Terminus and Ghost was episode 62. So, see, there's a whole history here, right? A lot of the cool synthwave acts have been on the show. And if you dig their music, go back into the Beyond Synth archive, because chances are I've probably interviewed them. But in the meantime, let's go to the Patreon.
Now you better listen up, 'cause I'ma tell you what the deal. The last moon to show up on Patreon, that's for real. Subscribing, you belong up in the higher echelon. Now let's see who gave money on Patreon.
Alright, hey guys and gals, Beyond Synth has a Patreon. That's what we're doing right now. Patreon is a way that you can donate money to the show. It's kind of like a Kickstarter, except you donate a monthly amount. So you can do like $1 a month up to $4,000, which is the one I keep pushing for. It was $3,000, I've changed it to $4,000. So I'm pushing for the person who wants to donate $4,000 a month. Please do, it would mean a lot to me. But anyway, these are the lovely people who donate to the Patreon and make Beyond Synth possible. There's Bending Unit 22, Ravonia, Brendan Kellum, Power 85, Lunar Baboon, Knox Bellow, Terrence Thompson, Nathan Winter. Hey, he wrote a question in today, how about that? Russ Nyes, Data Suck, Seach, The Fear Merchant, Kanaz, Argen 1981, Russell Hugo, Kyle, Junk Mail Jeff, Python Blue, Eric Valerio, Airman, Adrian King, Replicant 81, Katner, Max Hutchings, Zycorax, I90RR, Mitch Wiseman, Jeff Block, Tomasz Bubinicek, Common Synths, Chris Schmokel, and these are my lovely $5 Pattersons. There's X-Riz Music, Saloya, Kai, Ethan Hennings, Ross Pentland, Stu M, Night Raptor, The Rosconian, Mike Shima, Greg Smith, New Gat Ninja, Veilingo, Simon Norberg, Matthew Lister, Florence Bullock, Mono Memory, Lame Robot, Dougie Fresh, John Eternal, Bobby B, Devious Raven, Roman, and Joe and Lando. And I think Joe and Lando started doing some Let's Play videos through their podcast, because I was watching them play that Tom Clancy game, which I had no idea about, but apparently it's fun to play in co-op. And of course, there is a new member to the Donation of the Beast. That's right, I've got 3 people now donating $6.66. The Donation of the Beast! Satan! There is Hellroy, Lucas Ceballos, and Blake Peterson, all with the Donation of the Beast! And of course, my lovely $10 Pattersons. There's Jake Last, Trevor Resnick, Colin Bennett, Fraser Trousers 1984. It's Fraser Davidson. He keeps changing it every week and it catches me off guard. Victor Garza, Ezra Van Dam, Winfield, Will Lowe, Nathaniel Rivera, Poly Digital, and Jacob Wick. And we have a very special King of the Pattersons this week with a fantastic $25 donation. There is Chris Dance. Chris Dance, you're a cool fucking guy. Maybe the coolest. A lot cooler than these assholes, let me tell you, because that's pretty sweet. Of course, people who donate $25 a month get to sponsor an episode of the show. And I should have probably asked if you wanted to do that. But, you'll still be part of the Patreon for the month. So maybe we'll do that next week or something. Who knows? The point is, I'm very disorganized when I do this whole thing. But, it's all good. It's all good. So thank you very much, Chris Dance, for being a super cool guy. And thank everybody else who donated to the Beyond Synth Patreon. It's pretty fucking cool that you do. We reached our goal, so we're, moving ahead on some video stuff, and it's going to be pretty neat or terrible. Let's listen to another track, and then we will talk to Perturbator Part 2. This is Makeup and Vanity Set with the track March. And that was March by Makeup and Vanity Set from the Brigador game soundtrack album Volume 1. Brigador. And that's a cool track, and if you dig Makeup and Vanity Set, he was also on the show. That was episode 68 and 69. We did a two-parter, because he was a really interesting guy to talk to. So listen, that's pretty much all I got to do today, business-wise. So let's now go to my conversation with Perturbator. Alrighty, and I am here with part 2 of my conversation with Perturbator. How's it going, dude?
Very good. What about you?
I'm okay. That huge 1 week break we just took?
Oh yeah, it was fucking long, man.
The bottom line is that I'm here with Perturbator. If you didn't hear part 1, go listen to part 1. This is part 2. We pretty much just focused on Dangerous Days, and so we're moving forward. We're going to talk about the Uncanny Valley, the follow-up album, which also has a lot of awesome tracks. And that's what we're going to do today, man.
Yeah, let's do that. It sounds like a good idea to me.
Last week's episode there, where we were talking about gaming and stuff like that, and you said you're playing some PC games. I guess you're playing like Fallout. I mean, is that the only sort of like new game you're playing besides all the retro stuff?
Actually, yeah, it's mostly. I'm actually a fucking sucker for Fallout 4. A lot of people hate it, but I can't stop playing this game. It's the best.
For me, the game that gets me is Elder Scrolls.
All right, it's the main. Okay, I see. You're an enemy. Okay, I get it.
No, because it's like it's the same game. It's like it's different coat of paint.
Yes.
Right? Because I mean, it's the same engine behind those games, except one of them you're in post-apocalypse, and the other one you're in fantasy world. And I'm more of a fantasy guy.
Yeah, you're more like Tolkien stuff.
I just picked up Skyrim. Well, I just picked up several months ago. Last season, I picked up Skyrim, the remastered for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I love that game so much. Like, so I understand there's something about those Bethesda games.
Yeah.
That they're just so absorbing, even when I'm not doing anything really. Like when I explain what I do when I play Skyrim, I essentially play that game like I'm a fucking salesman. Like I go into caves, I fight monsters, and I loot all the fucking the treasure chests and stuff I can find, and then I just go to the store and sell it. And that's pretty much what I do. Like
there's almost I was being facetious. I love this word. I was being facetious. I actually really like the Elder Scrolls too. Yeah,
I mean, it's something about the way they just make a very compelling, even though if you're a nerd, there's lots of people who like to complain, in big open world games, how they don't do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
But I love open world games that give you all those options. Like to me, when someone's just like, in GTA, like the driving's not as good as when you're playing like, whatever, Gran Turismo. And I'm like, yeah, but you get to get out of the car and then you get to run around and shoot people. Like, so who gives a fuck?
Gamers, man. I mean, I'm going to get a whole community angry at me right now, but they're very nitpicky. I mean, usually, right?
Yeah.
They always go, it's not as good. Yeah, it's not like I wanted.
The problem now is I just feel like there's too much hype all the time. Like every game, here's all I've noticed from the past few years of games.
You want to talk about No Man's Sky?
Well, I haven't played it yet, but the thing is like, every big game gets delayed, so that's a thing that's just sort of standard now. Every time I see an announcement for any game, like at E3, I'm just like, coming 2017, all I think is, nope, no it isn't, it's coming in 2018. Like, why even bother saying it's coming out in 2017? It won't be. And then everyone, like, builds stuff up so huge. I mean, you just brought up No Man's Sky, which I'm still going to play at some point just because I'm curious to try it out, but even before it came out, I would watch the videos and I'd go, okay, this game looks interesting, but I don't understand what the game is. Like, I couldn't figure out what the game was.
Yeah.
And everyone was building it up like it was going to be like the fucking second coming of Christ. And I was watching it going like, well, first of all, it's a team of like 7 people? Like, it's not a huge AAA fucking studio. So I don't know what people were expecting, but it was really bizarre, like the fallout of that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about it, but apparently people got lied to by the studio, which is actually true. I did my little investigation on
Perturbator investigates.
Yeah, but it's interesting for me. I'm really interested in the state of the video game industry. There's a lot of shit that grinds my gears. Nowadays games, it's all about fucking random rewards, fucking box and microtransactions and shit like that. Mm-hmm. That fucks me up. I hate that shit. It's like, if I want to go to Las Vegas and bet some money on some shit, I'll go to Las Vegas. I'm not gonna fucking play whatever Counter-Strike or something.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. To me, it makes me sometimes, if I don't particularly feel too strongly about a game. Like, there's only a few franchises where I just have to buy them when they're new.
Yeah.
And there's only a few. It's like literally Elder Scrolls I'll buy when they're new, even though I know that every Bethesda game, when it launches with a ton of fucking bugs that usually like break your quests and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I love those games so much, I still have to buy them like when they first come out. Grand Theft Auto, I will always buy day one. Those games are just so fucking good. Mortal Kombat, only because I just have this thing with that franchise, even though they're ridiculous games. For some reason, I still pick them up.
I fucking suck at Mortal Kombat. I bought it. We had a PlayStation 4 in the van. In the van at one point, and I bought like Mortal Kombat. I was the worst at it. I was getting my ass beaten up by just random people who pressed like random buttons. I was mad at it.
I've always loved Mortal Kombat, and so I thought that meant I liked fighting games. And it turns out I just liked Mortal Kombat. And I don't know what it was, like, because in the old games, right, you know, you'd always get those nerds yelling at me going like, Street Fighter's the better game. I'm like, it might be the better game, but I just like Mortal Kombat better. I just like the aesthetic of it and the magic and the robots and shit. It's just ridiculous. So that's the thing. So now when there's all these stupid like microtransactions and things, it makes me kind of hold off on buying some games because I just go, well, why buy it now when I know I can get the Game of the Year edition in 7 months?
Yeah.
That has all the DLC and stuff like that. And speaking of Mortal Kombat, they did something which made me laugh. It was so ridiculous. You know, when the game came out, Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was all these DLCs for additional characters. And then they came out with Mortal Kombat XL, which is the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. And when they announced Mortal Kombat XL with all the DLC, they said, pre-order it now to get these additional costumes. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, you're actually offering fucking time-exclusive DLC on the fucking thing that's supposed to be the ultimate edition of the game? Like, it fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid, right? It's really fucking stupid.
It is. But I'll tell you what's not stupid.
The movies?
No, the Uncanny Valley by Perturbator.
Thank you. Yeah, you should, before going on to that, you should watch the Mortal Kombat movies. They're a gem.
No, they are awesome. Oh, hey, dude, I own them both on Blu-ray, and we can talk about that later.
Cool,
but
cool.
we are gonna listen to a fucking track that is hard as fuck. This is Neo Tokyo by Perturbator. And that was Neo Tokyo by Perturbator. And that is a fucking cool track. Sort of kicks off the album with letting people know that you mean business.
Yeah. I think it's the first album I make, or the first release I make, where the first track really, you get into the meat of the track, like right now. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was important because I was tired of making long intros and shit like that. I mean, an intro is it's an introduction. And I mean, it's my fourth album. I don't need to introduce myself anymore.
Right, yeah.
I'll forget the intro in the next one, actually. So yeah. what I'm just saying right now is going to be not valid later.
That's okay. It's a moment in time. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you after Dangerous Days did you start working on tracks for this one?
I started working on the Uncanny Valley. I started working before Dangerous Days was released. And it took me 2 years to finish this album, and it was a tough 2 years, really tough.
Why?
Because first I changed apartments a lot. So the album, my studio, I'm doing everything at home, okay? It's a home studio. It's a shit home studio, by the way. I don't have fancy shit. So I was moving around all this gear all the time, and even like the acoustics of one place was different, and it was just hell to work around that. The album itself was kind of complicated to make because I just wanted it to be like the best Perturbator album, like the best of what I can do. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, when I listen to it, I'm still quite proud of it, more than I am proud of Dangerous Days on my previous work. I'm very proud of Uncanny Valley, and I wanted to do like I had very big aspirations for this one.
Right.
So yeah, it took longer to make, but in the end I think it was worth it.
Talking about your home studio there, do you mix using headphones or fucking...
I use a pair of shitty monitors that I found in a supermarket. They cost $20. It's not a joke. This is not a joke.
How do you do that?
Every time one of my musician peers comes to my house, they go like, they see the monitors, they go like, man, so where are the real monitors that you use for mixing? And I'm like, no, this is it. This is what I use.
So are you surprised by what your music sounds like when you like go on tour and stuff? Just like, oh wow, like this is bigger than I thought?
Not really, because I've been rolling with these monitors for 6 years now. Everything I listen to, I'm listening through those pieces of shit. I know exactly where they fail. It's kind of weird. I know where they fail. I mean, the low end sucks, this type of stuff, So I know how to compensate my own music so that it doesn't fail. And I do listen to headphones rarely, but at the end of the mix, just to make sure everything is on point.
Speaking of people visiting your studio, I think Dan was telling me in one of his shows about how he told a nice story of staying at your apartment, and you had to give him the bed because he's so tall.
Yeah, I gave him my bed and I slept on a fucking couch. That's true, yeah.
Well, that was a nice thing to do. You're a nice guy.
I'm nice. I'm very nice. Too nice sometimes. Next time Dan is here, I'll give him the couch.
I'd say, fuck you, buddy.
No, I won't. Actually, I enjoyed sleeping in my bed after Dan was there.
So what have you been doing like in Fallout then? How do you play those sorts of games? Like, have you started multiple games, or are you just focusing on one specific character?
I always do only one character. I'm kind of like you. I'm just going through it's like there's a lot of stuff to see in those games. So I just go into every little part of this made up world, and I look at everything, every item, every fucking thing, and it's kind of annoying for someone who's next to me watching me play, because I spend more time watching stuff than actual playing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I have so many hours on Fallout, and most of these hours, like I would say 70% of these hours is just me looking at the world. I love the world. I love the lore of Fallout. So
yeah, they put the same sort of time into the Skyrim one with all the books around that you can find, and I know for anyone watching me play, it's the same thing. Like, I'm playing an epic fantasy adventure where I'm hunting down the last dragons and absorbing their souls and shit, yet when anytime someone watches me play, I'm in the fucking store bartering with these assholes.
Yeah.
To sell them shit I found in caves. I mean, like, that's... Meanwhile, there's this whole epic story going on about fucking dragon shouts and all this stuff and weird old druids, and I'm here just like, yeah, I found a fucking old bone and I stole a couple bowls from... Literally, in Skyrim, this time that I bought the game, I've probably put in, I don't know how many hours, but, you know, maybe like 30 or 40 hours into the game so far.
Yeah.
And literally the entire point of this playthrough has been to level up my speech skill so that I can steal stuff and then sell it back to the people who I just stole it from.
I do the same, man. It's the same. All my friends, they hate Fallout for some reason, for unknown reasons. So I'm always like trying to sell it to them, sell it to them. I'm like, hey, look how awesome it is. So I'm playing in front of them, but I'm doing nothing. Yeah. They go like, what's the point? I'm like, dude, look. First of all, look, there's a beautiful town here. It's beautiful, right? They go like, oh, where's the cars? I'm like, oh, fuck. Fuck it.
Where's the prostitutes? Isn't this that game where you get to pick up prostitutes?
There's actually prostitutes in Fallout.
Is there?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
I only started a game.
Female, male, and even ghoul prostitutes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I think the last one I played was Fallout 3. I don't think I ever did New Vegas, although I was told that it was good.
New Vegas is cool.
Do you get into the whole house building thing in Fallout 4?
Yeah, I love it. It's like, if I play Sims in front of my friends, they all will make fun of me. But if I play Sims in Fallout, it's more badass. I can kind of pretend that I'm doing something interesting. Yeah. I can hide the fact that I'm still building a house and putting little chairs and furniture here. Being fancy and shit.
It's amazing when I realize the shit that I'm doing in a game that I will focus on. In my real life, like, I'll have this messy room, but then in the game I'm like stacking things all neat and going like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Listen, let's listen to another track here.
Go ahead.
This was a cool one I really dug. This is a track called Death Squad. And that was Death Squad by Perturbator. And this track, I love that sort of synth horn kind of melody thing that comes in at about the 1 minute and 40 mark.
Yeah.
I just love that. Meow, meow, meow. I don't know. I can't do it, but I love that sound.
You definitely do it, and I would have sampled you.
What is that sound? What is it? Is it a horn? A synth horn? Like, what is that thing?
It's a synth, man. It's a lead, like basic. It's a CS80, the Yamaha CS80, one of the classic leads used by Vangelis in the Bladerunner soundtrack. So I'm just using that. But it's a synth sound, definitely. This whole track is more like industrial type sounds, more like hard electro. I think it's the most electronic sounding track in the album.
Well, it's definitely a fucking cool song, man.
Thanks.
So what was coming to mind when you were working on it?
Okay, I listened to a lot of I don't know if you know this guy's name. His name is Gesaffelstein.
Yeah, he's my neighbor.
Oh yeah, good.
Good old Gesaffelstein. Was that? I'm always saying that fucking rascal. I go outside and he's like stealing my garbage bin. I'm like, oh, Gesaffelstein. Anyway.
He's a special lad. I don't know. I really like his tracks. Okay, it's a very good producer. I like the way he mixes everything. It's like very minimalistic, but it sounds fucking hard as fuck. And I wanted to do this type of thing with a track, like a very minimalistic track, simple, but the beat is key in this track. It's like, you know, in terms of visuals, I guess I wasn't thinking much about it on this track specifically. I just wanted, you know, it's like a Future Club #2. It's like just something that you can put in a club.
Right, yeah.
A very dancey track, I guess.
We didn't talk about this. I mean, we talked about a lot of the European tour stuff, but there was, I remember, like, I think you came to Montreal.
Yeah.
And that was the one with Miami Nights 1984, right? Like, was he there as well?
I saw Michael from Miami Nights and Le Matos. By the way, do you know what it means, Le Matos? It's kind of like the stuff, but in Paris, it's the word used to, to describe drugs.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, hey, do you have Le Matos? Oh. It's like, oh yeah, I do. It's $10 for 1 gram.
Yeah.
They're very cool. I loved hanging out with them. Michael, he's tall as fuck too, but I don't know, he reminds me like of a big polar bear. Yeah. It's very charming. I love him. I love his jokes too.
Yeah, no, on the Christmas show, he came on the Christmas show as well, the one that you were on, and he said some pretty ridiculous shit to do with that.
Yeah. Oh, he's cool as fuck, man. I would definitely hang out with him without putting any sexual tension between him and I, but just two friends hanging out together, never crossing the line.
Yeah, man. I saw some fun pictures because you guys went to that in Montreal. That's my favorite church, is the one that reminds me of Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
I call it the Zelda Church. I don't even know what the fuck it's actually called. My brother lives in Montreal, and so I would always be like, let's go to the Zelda Church.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, and we saw like this church, and we were like, oh, let's do some fucking pictures in it. Let's try to look cult as fuck.
Got the cult as fuck.
We probably looked very stupid, because we were like literally doing an improvised photo shoot next to fucking crosses. People around the church was like giving us the look, you know.
Yeah. What the fuck are you guys doing?
We just squatted next to a fucking picture of Jesus Christ or something like that.
In that particular show, then, were you guys weren't playing together, right? Like you were doing like separate nights of a thing?
Yeah, he played one night and I played the next one. I played Danger, electronic artist from France. Again, a dude that hides behind a mask. Yeah,
there's lots of those, man. Even, I think Carpenter Brute's doing a thing now, isn't he? Like wearing a veil or something?
I think he just does it for the interviews. I actually don't see the point because, I mean, everyone can see his face during the live shows. Mm-hmm. But during the interviews, he puts a veil.
There's this fucking hilarious video that I loved because Magic Sword, right? Like they've got the masks with the lights in them and stuff.
Yeah.
And there is an awesome video of Magic Sword doing an interview in front of like someone's, I don't know if they had like a show or they were just doing it in front of a crowd. And he's there in full fucking costume, like doing this interview with this person in front of like a room full of people. And it was amazing. Like when I saw that, I was just like, this is so fucking awesome. Like I love when people just go for it. Like there's just something awesome about it.
They stay in character.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's cool. I think I heard somewhere, like, I think it's Carpenter who said it, but I think the whole point of having a mask and hiding your face is like, oh, we want to focus more on the music.
Right.
I mean, it's cool. I can respect that, and I understand. I just feel like, you know, showing your face doesn't cancel the fact that you're still making music mainly. So people, they always focus on the music anyway.
Yeah, I'm of two minds of the whole thing because I like to tease people who wear masks, but at the same time, I appreciate the theatricality of it because, you know, when you're inspired by this retro stuff and 80s things and stuff, it's like there's an earnestness to the 80s. Like there's kind of no irony. Yeah. And so there is something that I do like about the fact that Ghost has a skull mask. Like he's just, and I love that his mask looks like the skull is smiling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I always like to refer to him as like the happiest skeleton in synthwave because that skull actually has a smile on it.
Does he like when you call him like that? I think he...
I know. I think I called him that on the show, like when I had him on, like the happiest skeleton in synthwave.
He probably kind of winced at that.
Well, he's got a good sense of humor.
No. No, he does. I was just fucking with it.
Listen, let's listen to another track, man. This was a collab you did with Greta Link.
Yeah.
This is Venger by Perturbator. It's a lot of ers.
Yeah.
And that was Venger by Perturbator featuring Greta Link. And I'm here with Perturbator right now. We're talking about taking pictures in churches and happy skeletons and stuff. So who is Greta Link? How did you find this person? Because I think I followed up and went to their Bandcamp, and it was, it was totally different style of music. So like, how did you come across them?
Actually, if you knew your Perturbator well, I'm taking a little jab at you right now. If you knew your Perturbator well, you would know she already was singing on a track from me on I Am the Night.
Oh, fuck me.
It's okay, don't worry. We all make mistakes. You know.
It's so weird for some reason when I was listening to this thing, because I've been so focused on these two, the new albums. When I saw the name Greta Link, I was like, there was something kind of familiar about it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is new, because usually it's with, Golczewski or Dead Astronauts, and it seemed like new to me for some reason.
I am not mad. Don't worry.
This is important for my audience to know that I am fallible, because sometimes people, they ask me questions and stuff as if I'm some sort of like synthwave encyclopedia.
Oh yeah, you have to show them that you're still human.
And that's important, but it's, and so they'll say stuff like, oh, have you heard something that sounds like this? Or they'll ask me if I've heard certain artists, and sometimes I'm just like flat out like, no, I've never listened to them. They're like, what? I'm like, dude, there's fucking like thousands of hours of shit, and I've got to fucking make a show. Like, I can't listen to, I can't listen to everything. And plus, there's the stuff I like, and when I like something,
of course,
I'll just sit there and listen to that and not listen to any new music. So like when I'm sitting there, like when new Perturbator comes out, then I'm just sort of like, there might be other stuff and people are submitting tracks for me to listen to, and I'm just like, I'm in Perturbator land for a little while. You call me when it's finished.
It's a good land.
So talk to me about this person, who is not a new collaboration, but apparently a very old one that I should have known.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm not mad. Okay. Don't worry. She's a really cool person that I actually know from a while, and she talked to me first. I think it was a while ago, 4 years ago, something like that, 5 maybe, not sure. And I believe she was one of the first person who kind of asked if she could feature in a track of Perturbator, and I went, fuck yeah, let's do it. And it worked pretty well. I mean, this track from I Am Night that you didn't know, but it's okay, I'm not mad. It's okay.
Is this going to be the theme for the rest of the show?
Yeah, no, I'm not mad, don't worry.
That's what I'm going to call this episode. It's going to be called, like, I Am Not Mad with Perturbator.
No, but the collaboration went very well, and the track itself became sort of like a little fan favorite from a specific niche of Perturbator listeners, I guess.
Like, there's something different about the tempo in which she sings or something. My music terminology is terrible, but like the other tracks you do with, like with Dead Astronauts and Isabella and stuff, they have a certain style to them, like a dreamlike quality.
Yeah, this one is one of the first vocal tracks I made where it's not actually slow. It's more like, there's a steady rhythm to it, and I wanted to bring it back into singing with me on the track because, first of all, I like her voice, and I think it would be a cool thing to have her again on an album. And I pitched her the track, and I told her, like, let's try something more pop-ish. This is definitely the most pop track on the album, and it was deliberate. I wanted to do like very classic structure, catchy hooks and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I think her voice fits really well. It's one of my favorites from the album, actually.
Well, it's a good song, man. I dig it.
Thank you.
I dig the very first collaboration you did with Greta Link called Venger from the album The Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, I'm not mad. All right, you're a human, man. And it's good that you let your audience know
that I'm a piece of shit.
You fuck up, man.
I saw a fun story there. I was just going through doing a little research about you using the power of Twitter to return some dude's wallet.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. And that was a fucking crazy story, man. I was in Iceland and I took a cab, and one of my crew guys found a wallet complete with everything inside, like, driving license, credit cards, IDs, phone. There was everything in it. And we were on the cab to the way back home, so from Iceland to France. So, and I thought, like, fuck, we need to find this dude because we're gonna get back to France and it's gonna be weird. So we tried everything. I tried a lot of shit. We tried turning on his phone, but it was not working because it had as a password. We tried every password possible. We tried everything, man, to contact him.
It wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4?
I tried that. It wasn't that. I tried everything, man. I even tried his birth date.
Oh, that's right, because you had his wallet. Amazing.
I had everything about this guy. I had every information about this dude. Maybe he's listening to the show right now because now he knows about Perturbator.
Yeah.
We tried everything. We didn't find him on Facebook. We didn't find him on Twitter. We didn't find him anywhere except this website called LinkedIn, I guess.
Fucking LinkedIn. Jesus Christ. I still to this day don't quite understand what LinkedIn is. All I know is I get emails from them all the time telling me I should join it.
Yeah, same here. Everybody tells me like, oh, you should be on LinkedIn. The thing is, we saw this dude LinkedIn and we thought, oh, perfect, now I can send him an email, but his email address was not here. It was nothing. It's just like a fucking digital CV, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So I made a fake account called I Found Your Wallet.
Yeah.
I sent him a couple of friend requests. He didn't answer to me for a while and didn't give a shit, so I took it to Twitter and told like some of my listeners to add him and shit like that because I wanted to give back his wallet. I felt like I was doing something good, man. I felt like a
hero?
Like a hero. Like a like a cheap real life superhero.
So it actually worked, right?
It did work. He contacted me after like 3 weeks or something like that, and he said, "Oh my god, man, you found my wallet. Whatever. What the fuck, dude?" And he gave me an address I should send it to, and it's happy ending. Basically, he also proposed me as a reward. He wanted to buy me a bottle of wine. I think it's because I'm French. Just stereotypical gift.
Do you like wine?
I love wine, man.
See, we got to talk about this because
I love it.
I think I mentioned it briefly in the Christmas episode, but the last time I talked to you all these years ago, you didn't drink.
No.
And now I see pictures of you on the internet in front of a bar with a bunch of empty glasses and stuff.
Actually, did I specifically said that I didn't drink? Because maybe I was lying a bit. I was always kind of drinking a bit, but touring made it worse.
So you telling me you were telling me stories the first time you were on?
What do you mean?
It's okay, man. I'm not mad. Listen, we're gonna listen to another track, dude.
It's all right, dude. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not mad. We can both not be mad at each other.
Well, I'm not mad at you.
It's such a stupid show I have. All right, this is a fucking cool track. This is Diabolus Ex Machina by Perturbator. And that was Diabolus Ex Machina by Perturbator. And I'm here with Perturbator right now, and we are both not mad at each other. And this track is awesome. And I think what I noticed in this album, more so than in the previous ones, and especially in this track, is that you were doing a lot more sort of experimenting with the sort of the, like the beat structures and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of tracks that have this sort of like break beat kind of thing where like the beat stops and then like this new one kind of comes in, just goes like and it sort of like switches up the tempo a bit and then kind of like jumps back.
Well, there's only a number of fucking tracks you can make that are always like, 4/4 type time signature until it becomes boring, I guess. So experimenting with the rhythm and the drum parts in particular has become one of my main focus, I feel like.
So is that a style that's sort of going to be more prevalent going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, synthwave in general, it bases a lot of its codes on, this very steady rhythm. And I think, if we want to kind of move forward and do some more interesting stuff, we have to experiment with more strange structures and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, this track is definitely really cool. Like what I said before about sort of listening to music and picturing, having images in my head. I know this particular track, what sprung out to me, and I don't know what you have in your head, but this was also one where I imagined robots, but this was like, this track is so perfect for like a villainous army of robots, but like the kind of robots that can like climb up walls and stuff. Because when I listen to this track, I picture sort of a Terminator type scenario with like dudes in like the Jeep where they got the big laser cannon guns, and then there's like so many robots swarming that they're like climbing up the walls and the ceilings and stuff.
And that's very specific. You want me to give you a camera and you can...
Yeah. But that's totally what I pictured. For some reason with this song, I'm just like, oh, this is totally a fucking one of those scenes that just seems hopeless because there's so much. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
No, I don't. I'm actually the only guy in this world.
Well, listen.
I think everyone's gonna hate me now. Can you edit that out? I watch Games of Thrones. Okay, I love it. It's great.
No, I mean, fantasy isn't everybody's cup of tea. I will personally say that I think Game of Thrones is amazing, but anyway, there's a particular sequence where there was like this army of skeletons that were like filling up this walkway, like these people were like escaping, and like the skeletons are like running up the ceilings and stuff, chasing after them.
Yeah.
So I just picture that sort of same kind of thing with robots. The kind of robots, where like they look like Terminators, but they can also like run like spiders with their arms. Like, anyway, that's...
Man, you went full creative mode with that. It's very sweet.
Well, it's a fucking cool song. Like that's what I pictured as. It's like, oh, this would be so awesome in that context.
What I pictured when I made this music was more like me going to the supermarket and buy yogurt.
What kind of yogurt do you like?
Man, that's a tough one.
These are the kind of questions that people want to know. Perturbator fans want to know what kind of yogurt he buys.
Yeah, I like fruit flavored yogurt.
See, I have a problem personally with yogurt that has the fruit bits in it.
Oh, no, I don't like those. Fuck that.
Yeah, see, I like the ones, there's the yogurts that they just sort of flavor the yogurt with fruit, but there's no actual chunks of shit in there.
It's just the fruit taste, but it's still creamy. It's still sweet in the mouth. So those are my favorite yogurts.
What an amazing way to word that.
I think I'm French, so I'm kind of like a poet in some ways.
It's sweet in the mouth. Well, if I could high five you, I would.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, man, I've never been a fan of like plain gross yogurt or like the one with the fucking the fruits in the bottom, man. It's all wrong. I'm very particular when I eat food about texture. So I mean, the taste is important, but a lot of the foods I don't like have to do with just the texture of them. If they just feel weird.
Yeah. So you wouldn't eat insects and shit like that.
Yeah, just because of the texture. That's the only reason.
Sorry for everyone eating while listening to that.
They were all excited too. The listeners were sitting there, they said, oh, they're about to talk about yogurt, and then they got their food ready, and then...
I think hitting play on this podcast, they thought we would talk about music.
I think people are past wanting me to talk about music with the guests.
It's never about music, right?
No, it never is. But that's what's awesome, right? Because I get people who will complain, right? Because they'll just be like, it's like, how come you're always talking about all this other shit? I'm like, because then I wouldn't make the fucking show. I need to have fun when I talk to people. Like, I got to sit here and like edit these episodes for like hours and hours.
It's kind of boring to talk about music, right? For like an hour.
The thing is, there's pretty much like the majority of the people who listen to the show are like, they want to make, electronic music too, a lot of them.
Oh yeah, so they expect the people you invite to talk about, to deliver their production secrets and shit like that.
Yes, and I never ask those questions because I always find it, at one point I made up a joke where I did I was trying to get a theme song written where I would just and now it's time for a boring question, and then I just do what DAW do you use? What is your favorite VST plugin?
Well, there will be none of that here. It's all secret, Magician never reveals his tricks, and even if you know my tricks, you would be disappointed because it's all, $20 monitors and shit like that. So.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Now we know the trick is just buying shitty speakers.
Yeah, that's the trick.
You too can be Perturbator with a bunch of supermarket speakers.
Yeah, don't forget to put the sound as loud as possible.
Yeah.
Even it's, make it unlistenable.
I did have another track planned to listen to on the album, but is there a track that's like one of your favorites on there that we haven't talked about that you'd want people to listen to?
On the Uncanny Valley?
Yeah.
I think it's the one that I'm the most proud of is Disco Inferno.
Well, let's listen to it, man. This is Disco Inferno by Perturbator.
No.
That was Disco Inferno by Perturbator, and I'm chatting with Perturbator right now, having a lovely catch-up, talking about yogurt and stuff. So what is it about that track? You said that was the one you were the most proud of on the album.
I think it's the one, and I think you can hear it in the track, it's the one where I had a lot of ideas, and instead of something I usually do is like I have one or two cool gimmicks I put in a track, and the gimmick kind of makes the track. So it's like, Future Club, for example, it's the drop. Everyone talks about the drop and stuff like that. And Disco Inferno is really, it's all gimmicks. It's all little ideas that I had, and I didn't focus on any of them. I just put them all side to side. And this makes for a very morphing track. I don't know how to say it. It's like, the track is always changing.
Right. And
the beginning sounds a bit like, a regular gritty disco whatever, and there's this weird part with funk guitar in it and shit like that, but it's still kind of heavy in some way. I had a lot of fun doing this one, actually.
Did you find, because you were talking before about how you were switching apartments and all this time, did you find that helped? I mean, like once you got settled, did a different space change, what kind of music you were making?
Actually, on this specific track, on Disco Inferno, it's funny that you say it because I never thought about it, but Disco Inferno was, I started the track when I was in whatever apartment, and then I switched apartments, and I kept making the track, and I kept building it, always changing places and shit like that. And maybe that's why it sounds so inconsistent, but still somehow interesting, I guess. Maybe it's interesting, I don't know.
Are you a good tenant?
Okay, I'm a very good tenant, okay? I'm the best.
It's amazing to me, too. Like when I talked before, was that last week's episode or whatever, when I was talking about taking a lot of shit? That's another thing that surprises me because I'm a very good tenant. You know what I mean? Like I'm always rent. Sometimes I'll pay rent months in advance. Like we'll get everything all ironed out and be good tenant. We don't complain even when shit's broken. That's just the kind of person I am. Like in the first apartment I lived in Toronto, my ceiling in my apartment literally collapsed because it was leaking, and it like started to sink.
Shit.
And the landlord wouldn't fix it, and I didn't really like argue or fight. It was like my first place away from home, and then one day there's just this loud crash and the ceiling just blew up, all this fucking drywall powder and fucking plaster everywhere. But the thing was, my mom was a landlord for a while in a little place in Montreal.
Yeah.
My brother was in Montreal, so he was watching the apartment, and they had these crackheads that like moved in there, and they did like the most crackhead stuff I've ever heard of in my life. So they filled the place with garbage, and they were trying to evict them, and they couldn't. So like Montreal has it's really hard to evict people even if they are like complete scumbags.
Yeah.
So when these people finally left after months of not paying rent, like for like half a year, and like they just didn't pay, when they left, they stole besides taking everything, they stole all the appliances. So they actually stole the washing machine, the fucking like the fridge and shit.
How do you steal a fridge, man? How do you fit that in your
crackheads?
pocket?
Crackheads develop a fucking superhuman strength to steal things that they can sell. Like it's an amazing power they get. And they took the fucking they took the light fixtures out of the walls and stuff.
Very smart.
But it was like when it happened, it was just sort of like, whoa, like that is just meanwhile I'll sit in there and I'll let my fucking ceiling explode. and the tenant can just and the landlord can like walk all over me, and there's people who will fucking leave. They just won't pay rent, and then they'll fucking steal the appliances. Like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you should have stole your appliances from your last places.
Yeah, well, I did something when I left, too.
Is this the story about Perturbator taking a shit on the floor and the...
No. I left, I actually don't know how to explain it in English because it's very specific, but I left some shrimps inside the windows cracks, like very hidden, so that they would rot. I did it. It's not a joke. I was very mad at the landlord because when he kicked me out, he left me he gave me like a week to leave, and I asked him like, what is it about? Is it because the music? Maybe it's loud. He's like, no. And I was just mad, man. He didn't give me any answers. Just kicked me out like like a dick.
Yeah, that's not a cool move, man.
So I was being a dick too, vengeance.
No, you did. No, you deserve revenge. They're not supposed to do that. Like, they're supposed to give you time.
It's illegal to do that, right?
Yeah.
I left shrimps to rot on that fucking window.
The revenge of Perturbator.
It sucks. It's not a good revenge. I should have done better, but next time.
Oh, that is fucking amazing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen. We'll listen to one more track, and then maybe we can wrap this up. We've been talking for a really long time.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I imagine you got some fucking shit to do. So here is the titular track from the Uncanny Valley. This is The Uncanny Valley by Perturbator. And that was The Uncanny Valley by Perturbator. And I'm here with Perturbator right now. We've had a lot of fun here. It's been nice catching up with you.
Yeah, it's very fun, very pleasant. I'm not mad at you.
No, I'm not mad at you.
You made some mistakes here and there, but I'm not going to nitpick.
So stupid. So talk to me a bit, The Uncanny Valley. Of course, we're talking about people making weird Japanese sex robots that just seem a little bit off. Is that what this album is about?
Actually, no, but it's a good theory. It's a good one. The album has a complete, very specific storyline, which I never revealed. But it's all here in the tracks and in the name of the tracks and shit like that, and kind of in the comic that's included with the album and shit like that. But this last track was kind of like an ending thing, you know, it's the last track on the album. And I wanted to do a sort of weird tribute to old prog rock-ish synth music, like, you know, those big Goblin tracks or those huge, you know, Vangelis big opera sounding tracks, like space opera thing.
Yeah.
So that's what this track was about. That's what was on my mind when I made it. And I don't know, I felt like it was a great way to close the album in a very, you know, dramatic fashion. This track has it all. It has guitars. Actually, the whole second part of the album has a lot of guitars, a lot of stuff. That's where I focused more on the production and shit like that. Mm-hmm. First part of the album is more like, you know, classic Perturbator, like the normal Perturbator, with still some surprises here, like, you know, jazz tracks and shit like that. But yeah, I think Uncanny Valley, the track itself is it's like the grand finale of everything.
Well, it's a fucking cool track and it's a cool album, and that's Andy Last's review of Perturbator.
Thank you, nice review.
I give it 5 shrimps out of 5.
Oh, shrimps. Yeah.
That's my new rating scale now.
It should be out of 10, really.
Oh, fine. 10 shrimps out of 10 then.
You could say 9, don't worry. No album's perfect.
How about 9.5? I just don't want you to be mad at me anymore.
Okay, truth be told, I'm still kind of mad a little bit, but I'm trying I'm trying to swallow it. I'm trying to, like, you know, take it on myself, okay? Yeah. It's alright. I'm not mad. Really, I'm not really mad. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, it was good catching up with you. Let's do this again in another 3 years.
Let's do it. Let's do it in 3 years from now, when you'll be like full white hair.
I think I will.
I'll be in my prime. Like, I'll be like fucking like wearing tuxedos.
Is that how you envision the look of Perturbator evolving?
Yeah, tuxedos.
Well, why not, man? Do it.
Oh no, actually not. Nah, fuck it. I'll still dress up like I'm a fucking skater from the 90s.
Well, how about from the 90s? Well, you need maybe there's a way you can merge those things. Have a tuxedo, but then have like a backwards cap or something.
Oh, like a tuxedo skater?
Yeah, why not?
I'll talk about it with Christian Dior and all my costume designers.
Yeah. Do it, man. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I want to see some cool, moody pictures of Perturbator, like scowling at the camera, but in a fucking suit.
Oh, I'll make it moody as fuck, man.
Well, listen, dude, you have a lovely French evening.
Thank you. Have a lovely American.
Ooh, I'm not mad.
I fucked up, did I?
I'm not mad, man, I swear.
I think it's a great way to end the show with fucking up.
All right, dude. Well, you have a lovely day, and we'll talk to you soon, man. And keep making awesome music because I like it a lot.
Talk to you soon, man. And thank you. It was a pleasure. I'm getting less and less mad.
And that was Perturbator. We had a good time. I always enjoy talking with him. He's fun. And maybe we'll talk again in another 3 years. I'll put him on the old 3-year cycle. But he's a super talented dude, and I always look forward to what he makes. And that is all for this week. So tune in next time for the 100th episode of Beyond Synth. I don't want to do too much fanfare. It's not necessarily a celebration episode, but I will be chatting with somebody who I've been meaning to have on the show for a long time, who finally agreed to do it. But even then, I don't even want to even say that as a hint, because then everyone's going to be like, oh, you're going to finally have so-and-so on? And I'm like, no, not that one, this one. But it's a short list. The point is, it's a short list, okay? What is this? I don't have to impress you. I don't... Kiss my ass, man. It's my show. Listen, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next time on Beyond Synth, the best synthwave chat show there is.